Marla Kessler ran a bakery in Erie, Pennsylvania for 11 years before she ever touched a barbell. 41 years old. Flour under her nails, aching shoulders, a business she loved, and a body she'd stopped noticing. She hired a trainer that winter for one reason. Her doctor mentioned bone density and moved on before she could ask a follow-up question. 8 months later, she was deadlifting more than most men in her gym. And something strange happened that had nothing to do with the scale. Men who used to talk past her started talking to her. A supplier who once negotiated her down without blinking started asking what she thought. She didn't change her voice. She didn't change her opinions. She changed how her body moved through a room, and the room responded before anyone said a word. Iron Femme has tracked this pattern across hundreds of women in this age range, and the mechanism is not mysterious once you see it clearly. Women have been trained for decades to believe that strength is decorative, something men notice the way they notice a haircut. The research says otherwise. It says the body is being read constantly, instantly, and mostly outside conscious thought by both men and other women. And once you understand what's actually being measured, you stop training for approval and start training for accuracy, because the read is happening whether you consent to it or not. Nobody asked her permission before the reassessment started. It simply began the moment her body gave the room new information to work with. That's the part most women are never told directly. The ranking was never waiting on her consent in the first place. Here is what the data actually shows about how a strong woman gets sorted, ranked, and remembered.
Welcome to Iron Femme, a channel that helps women build strength that shows up everywhere. In the gym, in your career, in your voice, in your life. No shrinking, no apologizing, no training light. We lift heavy, we stand tall, we take up space. Physique, mindset, presence, all of it. If you want to be stronger in every room you walk into, you are in the right place.
Here is what Iron Femme has documented in women who train seriously past age 35. They stop performing confidence and start carrying it structurally, shoulders back, not as posture coaching, but as load-bearing habit. People notice within seconds, and they notice before they've processed a single word. A cross-cultural study published in the journal Scientific Reports tested this directly, showing more than 1,500 raters across 6 countries, assessments of physical formidability from body and face alone, and finding the accuracy of those instant judgments held steady across culture, language, and context. The assessment isn't a vibe. It's a calculation the human brain runs automatically, the same circuitry that once decided who was safe to stand next to in a room with no exits. Consider a woman named Priya Anand, an accountant in Sacramento who started strength training at 43 after a divorce she didn't see coming. She told her training partner months in that people had started letting her merge in traffic more. Small thing, not imagined. Bodies that read as formidable get yielded to, in traffic, in meeting rooms, at the counter of a hardware store. The signal is not aggression. It's information, delivered before a single sentence is exchanged. Women who understand this stop asking to be taken seriously. They stop walking into rooms hoping their competence will be noticed eventually, in time, after enough proof. The proof arrives with them, encoded in the way they carry 40 extra pounds of muscle they built on purpose. This is the first and most basic thing fit men have registered about a strong woman, whether they can name it or not. She was assessed before she spoke and she passed. Sit with that for a second, because it changes the whole question women have been asking themselves. It was never really, will they take me seriously? It was, what is my body already telling them before I get the chance to explain myself? Here is what Iron Femme has documented among women focused on the wrong metric for a decade. They chase a number on a scale that has almost no relationship to how their body is actually perceived, while the real variable sits untouched. The finding applies to how men are judged by women, and the underlying mechanism, visible muscle as a proxy for capability, reads the same in reverse, which is precisely why women who build visible strength report being looked at differently than women who only lose weight. Denise Okonkwo, a nurse in Charlotte, spent 6 years cycling through diets that shrank her but never changed how she was treated. 14 months into a strength program, colleagues who'd worked beside her for years started commenting on her arms in meetings, unprompted, in a tone she describes as almost involuntary. Nothing about her weight had dramatically changed. Her shoulders had. This is not a vanity metric. It's a different signal entirely, one that reads as capability rather than compliance with a beauty standard. Fit men, without necessarily articulating it, are running the same formidability assessment on women that women run on them, and a visibly strong woman registers as a different category of person than a thin one. Not better, different. Harder to dismiss, harder to overlook, harder to file away as decorative. The women who understand this stop asking whether they look good and start asking whether they look capable, because that is the question actually being answered by everyone around them, every single day. It's a strange kind of relief once it clicks. The scale was never the scoreboard. It just felt like one, because nobody had told them there was a different, more accurate one running underneath it the entire time. Here's what Iron Femme has documented in women who assumed competence would speak for itself in professional settings. It doesn't. Not on its own and not fast enough. Researchers Cameron Anderson at UC Berkeley's Haas School of Business and Aaron Lukaszewski at Oklahoma State University ran a series of experiments in which subjects were rated on leadership potential from photographs alone before any actual performance was observed, and found that perceived physical strength predicted assigned status and leadership rating more reliably than almost any other visible trait. The effect held even when the strong subject's actual competence was unknown to the raters. Status got handed out on site. Teresa Vasquez, a project manager in Tucson, spent 9 years being talked over in planning meetings by men with half her tenure. She started training seriously at 46, not for her career, almost as an afterthought. Within a year, she noticed something her colleagues later confirmed to her directly. People stopped interrupting her mid-sentence. Nobody discussed her training in that office. Nobody needed to. The room had already resorted her based on information her body was giving off that had nothing to do with the slide deck. This is uncomfortable to hear, and Iron Femme is not going to soften it. Competence is supposed to be the only variable that matters, and the data says it isn't. Not entirely, not yet. What the data does say is that a woman who trains is handing herself a second variable she controls completely, one that closes some of the gap her resume was never going to close on its own. Women who understand this aren't chasing vanity. They're closing a measurable gap between the recognition their work has earned and the recognition their body is currently broadcasting. Before we continue, kindly subscribe to Iron Femme for more advice like this. Here is what Iron Femme has documented in women navigating instability, job loss, divorce, a market that suddenly feels unsafe. Their instincts shift, and so do everyone else's, whether they notice the shift happening or not. Researchers at Oklahoma State University, publishing in the journal Evolutionary Psychology, surveyed more than 1,000 women and found that under conditions primed to feel ecologically harsh, financial instability, unsafe surroundings, an uncertain future, preference for physically formidable partners increased measurably, particularly for short-term protective value, compared to women primed with a sense of stability and safety. The takeaway isn't about romance alone. It's about what a body signals when the environment gets unpredictable. Formidability reads as insurance. Rosalind Ferreira, a widow in Albuquerque, started training 2 years after her husband died, in the middle of what she describes as the most financially unstable stretch of her adult life. She wasn't chasing a partner. She was chasing a feeling of not being the most vulnerable person in any room she walked into. That feeling is measurable, and it's contagious. People around a formidable woman recalibrate their sense of what she can absorb, what she can carry, what she can survive. Fit men in particular register this shift quickly because they're running the same calculation on themselves. A strong woman in an unstable environment isn't asking anyone for protection. She's signaling she doesn't require it, and that signal changes who approaches her, how they approach her, and what they assume she'll tolerate. The women who understand this train hardest exactly when life gets least predictable, not despite the chaos, but because of it. Notice the direction of that instinct, because it runs against everything women are usually told to do in a crisis. The advice is almost always to shrink, conserve, wait it out. The data points the opposite way entirely. Here is what Iron Femme has documented in women who think of strength training as something for their 30s and 40s, optional past that. The data says the opposite. The stakes climb with every decade, not the reverse. A study of nearly 500,000 participants in the UK Biobank, published in the BMJ, found that grip strength was a stronger predictor of cardiovascular death and all-cause mortality than systolic blood pressure, a marker doctors have relied on for generations. Every 5-kilogram drop in grip strength corresponded to a meaningfully higher risk of death from any cause, in women more than in men. This is not a cosmetic finding, it is a mortality curve, and it bends around a number most women have never measured in their life. Helen Marchetti, 61, from a small town outside Providence, started lifting after a bone scan rattled her. 3 years in, her physician told her directly that her functional markers, grip, balance, the ability to rise from a chair unassisted, placed her a full decade younger than her chart age. Fit men in her orbit, particularly ones her age or older, register this without needing the studies explained to them because they are watching the same clock in their own bodies. A strong woman past 50 is read, correctly, as someone who is going to be present for a very long time, reliable across years, not just across a season. That is the deepest layer of the ranking and the one with the longest memory. It isn't about a room tonight, it's about who is still standing, still capable, still fully herself 20 years from now. And increasingly, that is a number women get to choose. This is not about being ranked by anyone. It's about understanding, with total clarity, what is actually being measured, instantly, constantly, mostly without words, and deciding to control that variable on purpose instead of leaving it to chance. The woman who trains at 40, 50, 60 is not competing for a man's attention. She is building the one asset that reads as true in every room she will ever walk into again, in front of every person who will ever assess her before she opens her mouth. Marla is still running her bakery in Erie. She still has flour under her nails. She also has a grip that outlasts most of the men who walk through her door, a spine that doesn't ask permission to take up space, and a decade ahead of her that the data says she is very likely to be standing for. That is not a beauty standard. It is a body of evidence, and it belongs to her. Every woman running that same clock has the same option in front of her right now, whatever decade she's currently standing in. The ranking was never going to wait for permission. It's already running. The only real choice left is subscribe to Level Up More, or leave the outcome to chance and call it modesty. This is Iron Femme. Strength has no expiration date.